Let's start. Okay, so first boss is the Soul Hunters. I almost said the Death Hunters. Jesus. Okay, so real quick, these bosses don't share health. So three basically completely separate bosses, and they have to die together. If they don't die together, there's going to be these crystals that they leave on the ground, and they do massive amounts of pulsing raid damage. So this is like kill all the bosses within probably at most 10 seconds of one another. So very very even boss damage. For the most part, they are stacked on top of each other, or one bot or two bosses are stacked on top of each other, and there's a third not too far away. But that was just on PTR testing. I'm sure once it goes live, there'll be a strategy of like actually stacking all three together. So this is the arena, so it's not this entire massive thing. There's like a wall of fire that stops you from running outside. In PTR testing, people were able to get outside, so just ignore that. Um, the first boss, Adderis, which is the new Demon Hunter spec. Um, right off the bat, he's going to put two soaks on the ground that are in front of him that go to the center of the room. When you soak these, it gives you an unending hunger stack. If there was like two people in one soak, it's only going to go on one person. So it's not like we can get more stacks than what we actually need.
Oh, it's like the canisters from Vexy.
Basically, yeah. Um,
Yep.
so you can have like let's say three people soaking it just like that, and just like Gallywix for example, but only one of the three people are going to get this debuff. This debuff is important because it's going to allow you when these puddles spawn out to go and stand in them, and as you stand in them, they are going to shrink until the point where they completely go away. So when you get this debuff, you want to stand in the center. Don't stand on the outside, because if you stand on the outside, obviously the puddle's going to shrink, and then you're going to stop being in it, and then it's going to start growing again. You guys know how that works. So if you get this debuff, when these puddles spawn, you go and soak it. It falls off at 13 stacks, but it's making me wonder if we dispel it like 6 to 7 stacks. It didn't do that much damage in PTR, but it doesn't mean it won't do a lot of damage in live. And he also does this cast called Consume, which is not a tank cast. It's a random one person gets targeted cast. And for every stack of this that you get, the damage of this Consume increases. Like every stack increases the damage that you get from this Consume. So that's the only reason why I think maybe it's going to be a Dispel. And I assume dispelling it at 6 or 7. So if it's on Let's, for example, he goes to 7, gets Dispelled, it jumps to Mind, and it goes to 6. I assume that's going to add up to 13, and then that will automatically go away. Something like that is what I'm hoping for. Um, and then we have Velerin, which is the Havoc Demon Hunter. The main ability that she does is the Hunt, which is this giant green line. The absolute worst thing you can do is take this short. You do not want to keep this short. You want to stretch this thing out super, super long, because the more people that get in it, the more survivable this target person is going to be. When you get inside to soak, there's going to be these circles that go on you. It's like a 4-yard circle. If you have someone else inside of your circle, or you're inside of someone else's circle, it will basically make it so that you take 0 damage away from the primary target. So, long story short, stretch this line out far, don't stand in someone else's circle. Worst thing possibly you can do, and this is like the wipe mechanic of this fight, it's really the only wipe mechanic for this fight that someone could easily fuck up, is keeping this short. So stretch this thing out super long. She also does a blade dance, which is just a bunch of little green lines that are super easy to dodge. It's like 4 or 5 lines that just do like a Z pattern. And then her tank mechanic is the I beam, which is a blowback. So when this tank gets hit, it will actually push them back. And obviously, wants to get faced to the outside of the room, and obviously no melee ranged in that cone as well. Alyssa does the fewest amount of things. She does Fracture, which is the tank mechanic. She will hit, and 2 of the tank souls or soul fragments will come out. They're just green circles that we have to go soak. The tank that gets hit is ineligible to soak their own soul. So it's up to DPS and healers to go soak these for the tank. It is a 33% healing reduction for every soul the tank is missing. On Heroic, it was 2 souls. On Mythic, it was 3. So it's really going to be on all likelihood either close ranged or melee to go soak these for the tank, or they are going to die really, really quickly. Also does Fellblade, which is just essentially just like a charge to whatever active tank. And that's about it. There are 3 separate intermissions. Adderis, his intermission is basically puts a black hole in the center of the room, which gravitates these fragments that spawn on the outside of the room towards the center. If they get to the center, it does raid-wide damage. It's not one-shot damage, but it is raid-wide damage. And essentially our job is to just run around and just be little soaker boys like it's Mythic Argus all over again. Just grab these. It does do a dot and it does do a stacking dot, but the dot only lasts 3 seconds. So you probably can go to like 2 or 3 stacks and then stop and let it fall off and then go again, is what I assume it's going to be like. Velerin, her intermission is Kai'Vezet intermission, but less punishing. So all of those lines that would come out in the intermission, it's literally that, but it's Fel Rush now. So you can have like bad line overlaps where like this person's getting hit by this person's line. It's not going to be as punishing as Kai'Vezet, where if you're standing in someone else's line and you have a line on you, you're just going to get 2-tapped and die immediately. First week, it might be that way. And on Mythic, it definitely will be that way. So this is basically just do Kai'Vezet intermission all over again. Outside of that, that's all she does for her intermission. And then Alyssa, it's very difficult to find any video content for Alyssa's intermission because it was taking like 9 minutes for her to do one intermission on PTR, at least on Heroic. What she's going to do is, it seems like she targets a player, and I don't know if it's like the furthest away player from her, but she will always jump to the outside of the room and then immediately turn around and then do a Fel Dev, and it will always get pointed to the center of the room. And then she'll jump to another outside of the room and do another Fel Dev to the center of the room. It doesn't really do that much damage, but it does slow you. Like, really, really badly slow you. So, yeah. That is it for the Soul Hunters.
I like this fight.
This fight on Mythic is going to be fucking nutty. I'm going to turn up the speed on this. So, right off the bat, these are the 2 soaks I was talking about for the Unending Hunger. Oh, real quick. I said this once in Raid. I'm going to reiterate it now. If you have a PC that's having FPS issues, this fight is an FPS motherfucker. So you may want to upgrade RAM, you may want to upgrade something if you're having FPS issues as is. But also, I'm hoping that's just a PTR thing. So he soaked, he now has this debuff. That right there is the soul fragment from the tank hit on the right-hand side behind the evoker. So that gets soaked. And then that's the I-beam happening. And then this is the blade dance that she does, and then this is spawning those circles. So now he's going to step into these circles and start soaking them and draining these away. This is the hunt, and see how long he stretches it out. That's exactly what we want to be doing. And then he's just going to go back and soak. He's about to hit 13 stacks here, so this thing is about to disappear on him. Or so logs told me it will. Maybe not. Maybe it just caps out at 13 stacks and just, that's it. But yeah, and then we're just doing the same thing over again. Spreading out for this line. The only downside to the hunt is you cannot take 2 soaks back to back within 14 seconds of each other. And in Heroic, they're all more than 14 seconds apart. So essentially no penalty. That's really just a Mythic only thing. And yeah, that's kind of just repeat that over and over again. So this is Adderis' intermission. He's going to jump to the outside. And this is all you're doing. All these orbs are just getting stuck to the center, and we're just picking them up. You'll notice on his debuff, when he picks it up, it's a 4-second debuff. So yeah. The way we will probably do this is it'll be like Mugsy Mind Soaks, where essentially there's going to be 4 quadrants, and people are just going to be assigned a quadrant. For us, at least. So that's all his intermission. I think it lasts 25 seconds, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. And then I'll see if we can get to Alyssa's, or not Alyssa, whatever the Havoc Demon ones. Okay, it's right here. Velerin's. So these are just the Kai'Vezet lines all over again. They are, if you notice, you can weirdly manipulate your line, and I want to say you can manipulate it by like the direction your character is facing to a little bit, but if you see like some people are able to like not just move with their lines, but actually like pivot it slightly to like a certain direction. So, or maybe I'm just on crack. I'm not sure. Oh, okay. It's because of those images, and you just move in accordance with those images. Okay, I get it now. Bang. Just like that. And then this will not show us Alyssa's intermission. So that is it for this fight. Do you guys
A
have?
couple of times that I saw the one guild, I think it was Instant Dollars maybe, get to the last phase, all of them did all of their ults together.
Yes, the enrage is all three intermissions at the same time.
Yeah.
I gotta wait for this to load real quick, but when this loads, I'll show you guys what Alyssa's intermission looks like.
The hunt is probably immutable, right? Are we gonna try and play around that, or just kind of have the soak and the soak is the soak?
No, it is not immutable.
Oh, okay.
Well, at least not for Hunter Turtle. Okay, so this is the one I'm talking about. I'll blow it up. It's gonna jump and then into a Veldev. And it's always to the outside of the room, always to the center of the room. That's how it works. But yeah, and then these are the crystals I was talking about. If you kill one or two bosses too early, they just do pulsing ray damage, and we all die. On heroic PTR, this was doing like 40% of people's health every tick. So, all right. As far as damage taken goes, real quick for the healer people. This immolation aura is just constantly taking damage. Spirit bomb only happens 7 times throughout the entire fight, but it is raid-wide damage, and it does hit for 800k per hit, and it does like 3,000 hits over the course of a 5-minute kill. Outside of that, it's just melees and then a bunch of shit we can dodge. So the biggest thing is, where's this unending hunger dot? I didn't even see it. So like it does, maybe it does 0 damage, or it was doing 0 damage in PTR. I'm not sure. But yeah, any questions before we move on?